If you've ever been told it's just not your time yet, or I don't know if you're really ready, or yes, we see you, but we're waiting for the right opportunity. Let me translate that for you because those are not answers, those are deflections. Welcome to the Behind the HR Curtain series of the Industrially Organized podcast, where I help you understand the workplace in a way that your company never will. I'm Nicole, your personal HR partner, the one who tells you what's actually happening behind the scenes so you can take control of your career. And today we're talking about something that frustrates almost every professional at some point: the toxic non answers that are disguised as feedback. Let's be very clear, those statements are not feedback. They are non-specific, non-actionable, and truly designed to end the conversation with you. Because real feedback sounds like, here are the exact skills you're missing, or here's what the candidate demonstrated that you didn't, or here's what you should work on within the next 3 to 6 months, and then we can take a look at where you're at. But instead, you get, it's just not your time. That tells you nothing. That is not a path forward. That is not clear. And that's the problem. It's because giving real feedback requires being specific. It requires accountability for the decisions that were made. And it usually requires some uncomfortable honesty. And not every manager or HR partner is willing or capable of doing that. But there are a few very real reasons why these vague comments keep showing up. They don't have a clear justification. The decision may have been based on preference and not measurable criteria. They're avoiding conflict and emotion. It's easier to soften the message than to explain it. They don't want to create liability. The more specific they are, the more it can be questioned. They already chose someone else and they don't want to unpack why. So instead, you get a polished, safe, and ultimately useless answer. And here's what that does to you. You start questioning yourself. You overanalyze everything and you try to fix things that may not even be an issue. And you stay in a cycle of waiting for it to be your turn, waiting to be good enough. And the most frustrating part, you're willing to grow. You just don't know what to grow. And that's what makes it so damaging, because it's not rejection, it's confusion. Let me be clear here, we all have to deal with rejection at some point. And that's okay, because sometimes there really is another person that's a better fit for the opportunity. But when that happens, you get specific feedback, and that's the difference. So let me give you the honest translation of what these vague non-answers mean. When you hear it's just not your time yet, it often means we didn't choose you and we're not going to explain why. But here's the part that I need you to hear clearly. That does not automatically mean that something is wrong with you. It could mean different things. You may not realize how the decisions are being made in the company. Selection processes can be political or use gut instincts or be a popularity contest. I know it's not cool, but it happens. Or maybe you're not visible in the right way. Maybe you're not being seen the way you think you are. Success is not just about workload or working harder. It's about positioning yourself as well. Or maybe, and here's the really tough but very real possibility, you may not be in the right environment. This is where you need to take your control back. You have 3 options and only one of them actually moves you forward. Option number 1, you can accept the vague answer. stay stuck, keep guessing, and hope something changes soon. Option 2, you overwork to prove yourself. This is where burnout lives, and it still most likely will not change the outcome. Option 3, and this is your power move. You get strategic. You start collecting data. That means you start asking better follow up questions. You ask for them to be specific. You start looking for patterns in the decisions that are being made at the top. And with this data, you start evaluating whether your environment actually supports your growth. And here's the bold truth: if a company cannot give you clear, constructive feedback, they are not actively developing you. They are maintaining you. They are keeping you right where they want you. But you deserve transparency when it comes to your career. And if you consistently receive vague non answers, that is your data. It's not about your worth, but about your environment. Because the right environment doesn't say, "We see you." They show you. They show you how to grow, where you stand, and what's next for you. And I'm telling you all of this because I have been there. I've heard all of these before myself, but I'm stubborn. I basically said, "No, I'm good. I know what I can do, and so I'm going to go somewhere and go do it." And I'm telling you, I have felt so amazing and proud of myself when I did that. It wasn't the popular decision and it was hard, but I felt happier and was even more driven to succeed. So, if you're hearing these kinds of comments and you're stuck trying to figure out what they actually mean, you don't have to decode this alone. That's exactly what I help people do every day. I take your situation, whatever it is, and I promise I've heard or worked through it before. And together we break it down honestly and build a strategy that actually moves you forward. Because your career and well being should not be built on vague answers and guesswork. It should be built on clarity, strategy, and decisions made on purpose. That's a wrap for this Behind the HR Curtain episode. If you have any questions or have a topic that you'd like for me to talk about, feel free to connect with me or DM me. You can find all my socials on my website, www.industriallyorganized.org, and I'll drop that link in the description. Thanks for listening to this one, and I'll see you next time.